Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for me to bring you the finale of Season 3 of Leicester City Career Mode and the finale of a series overall. You can see the fixtures that we're going to be covering in this Season 3 finale in the background. Our game of course away from home against Stoke, who are already relegated, and talking about relegation, the main theme of this finale is the relegation scrap. There's no fights going on for the title, nothing going on in terms of Champions League fights or in terms of the Europa League fight, but my goodness have we got a good relegation battle. First of all, though, in the background you can see the Britannia Stadium. Stoke and Leicester are ready to do battle. Leicester, of course, have already wrapped up the league because Chelsea had such a bad end to the season that Leicester go into this final game of the season 4 points clear. So they'll be lifting the Barclays Premier League trophy at the end of this game, whereas Stoke will be contemplating life in the Championship at the end of this 90 minutes. But moving on to the relegation battle for the other spot that hasn't been taken as of yet, Norwich and Stoke are already down, and currently Southampton are going with them. They sit 18th in the league going into the final day of the season, and they're facing a tough game against Manchester City to ensure that they stay in the Barclays Premier League. You wouldn't envy them. They've got a difficult task, starting the day on 39 points in the relegation zone, 1 point behind West Brom, who host Newcastle for the final game of the season at the Hawthorns. Newcastle already safe, they're finishing mid-table this season. West Brom go into the final day of the season in 17th position, just 1 point above Southampton, who are currently sitting in the relegation zone. So a loss for West Brom and even a draw for Southampton could be enough for West Brom to go down. Another team involved in this relegation battle, though, is Fulham, who host Manchester United for today's game. Fulham themselves currently sit on 41 points going into the final day of the season, 2 places above the relegation zone, and would need to lose, with both Southampton and West Brom bettering their result in order to go down. I realise it's quite confusing, but there's more. There's a lot of teams involved in this relegation battle, and Fulham and Manchester United's players there shaking hands. Meanwhile, over at Anfield in Liverpool, would you believe, Liverpool and West Ham, both giant clubs in the English football system, could both be relegated today. Given Liverpool have a much more difficult task in getting relegated, they have a much better goal difference than the teams around them and have a 3-point lead over Southampton going into the final day. Themselves and West Ham could technically be relegated on this final day. If West Ham lose and all the teams behind them win, they could go down, and the same applies for Liverpool. Meanwhile, at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace host Watford. Crystal Palace are safe for this season. However, Watford go into the final day also on 42 points, much like Liverpool and West Ham before them. Yet again, they could go down if all the teams behind them win, as they don't have a great goal difference going into the final day of the season. However, it would be quite a difficult task for them to go down. However, it is 3 o'clock now and all the games are about to kick off. It's been a quiet first 10 minutes across the country in this final game week. However, in this game, Manchester United have been piling on the pressure against Fulham, and a good save there from Lonergan has denied Wayne Rooney. It's going to go out, though, for a corner. It's going to be swung in by Daley Blind towards Wayne Rooney, who gets his head on it and puts the ball in the back of the Fulham net, and Fulham find themselves behind already, just 12 minutes of this game gone, and that really is a knockout blow for Fulham, who are now behind in this game. They do, however, still need Southampton to go ahead in order to go down, but it's still not a fantastic position to be in. It's pretty poor defensively as well from Rowan Ince to allow the ball to go over his head, but a poor start then here for Fulham. Manchester United, who aren't fighting for anything going into this final day, lead them 1-0 away from home here. Yannick Bolassi's bursting down the left-hand side here for Crystal Palace, but it's a poor ball there into the centre of the pitch. Picked up by Gerardo, and now going past Mine Jedinak. It's been a pretty quiet first half in this game as well so far, but Gerardo skipping past players. He's got Igalo and Troy Deeney for support, but he doesn't look as if he needs them. He's going past Scott down into the area. Can he finish? Yes, he can. Gerardo scores an absolutely fantastic solo goal, picking up the ball in his own half and skipping past the challengers of Jedinak, Pape Soare, I think it was, and then finally Scott Dan zigzagging his way into the area and then slotting the ball past the Crystal Palace goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy, and Watford lead. This would be enough to completely keep them up. If it stays like this, Watford cannot physically go down. It's very much in their hands, and they're currently leading 1-0 here away from home against Palace. Fulham have definitely reacted well to going behind here. Jamie O'Hara as well on the ball. He's been very much present in the last 10 minutes of this game since Fulham lost out to that goal from Wayne Rooney. Here's Lasse Vigan Christensen on the ball. He's done well to find Jamie O'Hara. Now it's Luke Garber into the box for Moussa Dembele, and a wonderful turn and finish from Moussa Dembele out of nowhere, really taking it first time. Swivelling past Dali Blind, and it's 1-1 in an instant in this game. And the young promising French striker Moussa Dembele has got Fulham, back into this game. And now suddenly Fulham are in a fantastic position again, or at least a decent position. They can't go down. One thing you've got to say there, though, is it's poor goalkeeping from David De Gea. He should be doing a lot better. It's straight down the middle, really, from Dembele. But he's not going to care. The fans aren't going to care, because at the moment Fulham are staying up as it stands, and Southampton are still going down. It's quite unbelievable just how bad both of these two sides have been this season, especially Liverpool, who could somehow be relegated on the final day, and it's been partly down to defensive errors, and this is a massive one. Michail Antonio is in acres of space. He's got support. He goes for the shot, though. It's saved by Mignolet, but the response is in. The rebound even is in from Michail Antonio, and after 29 minutes, West Ham lead here against Liverpool, whose dismal season just gets even worse. They're going to finish even lower than they were at the start of the day. At this rate, West Ham taking the lead then over Liverpool, and if it stays like this, West Ham, much like Watford, can't get relegated. It's again in their hands, and a good goal from Michail Antonio to put them 1-0 up. There's not been much to write home about in this match here at the Hawthorns, but Jonas Olsson has actually found a run here from Claudio Jacob. Can he make it 1-0 to West Brom? No, he can't. Great save from the Newcastle goalkeeper. That could be a vital save at the end of the day. Southampton with a throw in here on the left-hand side. That'll be taken by Ryan Bertrand. It's Classy into Mane, and now Pele. And Sadio Mane is actually making a good run if the Italian can find him. Yes, he can. It's one-on-one with Joe Hart. Mane can't finish. Hart saves, but it's up in the air. And Graziano Pele is there to nod the ball into the empty net. And this really is a turn-up for the Bucks. This is the most important goal that we've seen all day, because Southampton are now leading here against Man City. That now puts them on 42 points and drops West Brom into the relegation zone with Fulham on the bubble. So a very, very important goal here from Graziano Pele. An incredibly important goal, and it's now 1-0 here to Southampton against City. It's fair to say that Stoke City are playing for pride in this one. They're already relegated down in 20th, but they've got to show the fans that they're really trying until the very end. We've got Leicester on a counter-attack though here. Jeff Schlupp, the left-back, sees Pione Sisto down the left-hand side, and the Dane is in a fantastic position. Glenn Johnson can't get near him. He cuts inside, he goes past a player, and he puts the ball into the top corner. And we were just saying that Stoke are playing for pride. Well, they're going to need to search for that pride some more, because they're 1-0 down here against the champions-elect Leicester. Pione Sisto cutting inside. He's still doing a good job for Leicester after signing 2 seasons ago. It's a wonderful goal into the top corner. First 45 minutes is coming to a close really across the country now at this point. 45-minute mark here in this United Fulham game. It's still 1-1. It's been a pretty even game overall, but United have actually got a free kick here. Andreas Pereira laying it off for Michael Carrick, and the volley hits the crossbar. That was an incredible attempt. It's back to Pereira. The shot is blocked. It's now back to Wayne Rooney. Can he work some space? No, it's blocked by Jazz Richards. The header down to Pereira again, flicks the ball over his head, but it's cleared away by Rowan Ince. And Fulham, I think, are just about going to scramble the ball clear to just about make it to half-time. The whistle goes, and it is half-time here at Fulham, and it's 1-1 thanks to that man there, Moussa Dembele, scoring for Fulham. It's half-time basically everywhere else across the country now as well. Luis Suarez trudges off the pitch in Stoke. They're 1-0 up against the home side, trying to end the season on a high after that FA Cup defeat at Wembley against Swansea. Meanwhile, it's half-time at Anfield as well, and that man there is the difference, Michail Antonio. It is 1-0 to West Ham going in at half-time, and it is now half-time basically everywhere else across the country as well. Antonio with that 30th minute goal to put Liverpool near the drop zone, but still realistically not in it. And Graziano Pele perhaps with the most important goal of the day so far. They're 1-0 up against City. You can see the full list of half-time scores here. Stoke losing at home against Leicester. Fulham are drawing 1-1 with Manchester United. It's Southampton ahead against Manchester City in that one, 1-0 to the Saints. Liverpool 1-0 down at half-time at home against fellow strugglers West Ham. It's 0-0 between West Brom and Newcastle. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace are losing 1-0 to Watford after that wonderful solo goal from Gerardo. But now it's time to get into the second half. Bakary Saka on the ball here, trying to find some space. He's got Jedinak now in support, and now Jordan Much as well. He's got a run from Balassi if he can find him, and Yannick Balassi's in here. Has he got the composure to finish this chance off here? It's Balassi, and it's 1-1. Crystal Palace are back in the game just 3 minutes after half-time. It is level here at Selhurst Park. It's not a massive goal in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't change Watford's survival status, but it's a poor goal to concede. Balassi in far too much space, and he slots the ball past Aurelio Gomez to make it 1-1. Congolese winger doesn't score many goals realistically for Crystal Palace, but he's got one here, and it's 1-1 now between Palace and Watford. Two teams most in danger at the moment though seem like Fulham and West Bromwich Albion. Fulham sat there in 17th place in the table as things stand on 42 points, with the fact they're drawing against Manchester United, with West Brom sat on 41. That however would not be enough for West Brom to actually stay up. They'd be relegated as things stand due to Southampton winning against City. The Crystal Palace goal scorer Balassi is on the ball here as well, showing off some lovely trickery though to go past the Watford defender. He's now played in Jedinak. It's a back heel back to Balassi. Some quick interchanging plays found Bakary Sacco. Lovely cross into the box, and Yohan Cabaye has put Palace in front for the first time in this game, and the comeback is complete. Watford have come out in this second half, and they're not the same team as they were that went in at half-time 1-0 up, and now, after just 15 minutes of this second half, they find themselves behind, and it is a lovely goal, some lovely skill, silky skill, between Balassi, Jedinak with the back heel, and a lovely Rabona cross as well. Great assist from Bakary Sacco into the box for Yohan Cabaye, and despite not being one of the biggest players, he's got his head on it, and he's made it 2-1 here to Crystal Palace. Leicester have looked very, very comfortable in this one. I'm sure there's already a party atmosphere amongst the travelling fans already. Looking for a second goal here. Halilovic has found Jeffrey Schlupp on the edge of the area. It's Schlupp back to Halilovic. And it is a rocket from the Croatian midfielder from outside of the area in the 78th minute. And Alan Halilovic, with an absolutely beautiful strike into the top corner, has surely wrapped up this match. Stoke haven't really been showing enough to even look like they're going to score once in this game. Now they need to score twice, and it just doesn't look as if it's going to happen. And that is a wonderful finish from Alan Halilovic for only his second goal for the club since joining on loan from Barcelona. He has had a decent impact, but that is a goal I'm sure that the fans will remember for a long time to come. West Brom are in desperate need of a goal here. They've got 12 minutes to salvage their position in the Barclays Premier League, and they've got a chance potentially here. Claudio Jacob has found Craig Gardner bearing down on goal, and Craig Gardner has scored potentially one of the most important goals in West Brom history. With 11 minutes of the game to go, they lead 1-0 against Newcastle, and this is crucial for the relegation battle, because now they sit on 43 points, and that is enough to see Fulham go down instead of West Brom. Craig Gardner rifling the ball into the back of the Newcastle net. They've definitely deserved this goal throughout the game, but they haven't had too many chances, but they've definitely bossed the possession in this one, and Craig Gardner, set up by Claudio Jacob, has potentially saved West Brom. They lead here against Newcastle. Stoke are rather valiantly still throwing bodies forward in search of at least one goal in this game, but it's looking ever more likely. The ball's there been headed away. Jamie Vardy has found Pione Sisto. Vardy's in even more space now. It's 2 against 1. It's Vardy and Zahovic off the bench against Munayeza. Zahovic is in the centre, and it's 3-0, and it's as simple as you like. Zahovic and Vardy, who have come on as substitutes for Suarez and Embolo, have wrapped this game up well and truly. With 9 minutes to go, it's 3-0, and it is truly a party here at the Britannia, but it's for Leicester. Fulham fans will surely be hearing the news that Newcastle are now losing to West Brom, and that as things stand, Fulham are going down, and they could be getting even worse here, because Martial has forced a save from Lonergan, but it's fallen to the feet of Daley Blind, and now suddenly it is a very difficult task for Fulham, who needed a goal themselves. They've been chucking players forward in the last 5 minutes, but now they trail against Manchester United. Martial with the shot, lovely burst of pace, and Daley Blind is there to collect the pieces. Andreas Pereira would have been there to slot home as well, and it's looking ever more unlikely that Fulham are going to be staying in the BPL. It's been as easy as you like for Leicester here. They're going to finish this season with a flourish, and they're going to win the BPL with a flourish too. They've got a corner here. Drinkwater swing it out to Vardy, and that puts the cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake, and it is a lovely finish. Yet another brilliant goal in this season and in this game alone. This time it's from Jamie Vardy, who in the 15 minutes he's been on the pitch has assisted a goal for Luka Zahovic and has scored one of his own. And it is yet another brilliant finish from a Leicester player. It is 4-0. Leicester are running riot. Fulham, unsurprisingly, are throwing everything they have at this. Without a goal here, they are going down. Back to the Championship. Moussa Dembele finding Rowan Ince. Back to Scott Parker, trying to work something. It's Stearman. It's fallen to Ross McCormack, but it's blocked and over the bar. Palace look in control in this one. They're searching for a third. Pape Souaré with a nice challenge there. Girardo's bringing the ball forward, but it's an awful challenge there from Yannick Bolasie, the goal scorer, the first goal scorer for Crystal Palace. He'll be lucky to stay on the pitch here. I think that was a shocking challenge. The referee doesn't look as if he's even going to give him a card. Bolasie complaining. He shouldn't be complaining. He's lucky to get away with a red. That is a quite awful challenge on Watford's goal scorer, Girardo. It's looking all but over now for Fulham. Wayne Rooney on the ball there. It's to Parker. And it's all over here then at Craven Cottage. It is over for Fulham in terms of being in the Premier League, unless Southampton concede to City or Newcastle score again against West Brom, or score for the first time, sorry, against West Brom. But as things stand, Fulham are down. It's completely out of their hands now after that loss against Manchester United, thanks to that man there, Daley Blind, with that goal. It is, however, over at the Hawthorns, and I think it's all over in the City game as well against Southampton, so Fulham will be down. They have been relegated at the end of this third season here in the Barclays Premier League. West Brom with a vital win at home against Newcastle. Craig Gardner keeping them in the BPL 12 minutes from time. Without that goal, they would have been relegated. In the end, it's Fulham that go down, despite reaching that magical 40-point mark. Crystal Palace beat Watford in the end, but it's immaterial. Watford stay up. So do West Ham and Liverpool. That game is over as well. But in the meantime, it's time for the party for Leicester. We knew they'd won the league before even going into this final game of the season. But on the final day of the season, they have won this game in style. It is a 4-0 win, demolishing of Stoke City away from home at the Britannia Stadium. No doubt thanks to the guys you saw on the screen there. Jamie Vardy, who got a goal and an assist today. You saw Sisto, you saw Halilovic on the screen as well. Some of the other players that maybe contributed a little bit more weren't involved in this game due to fatigue after the FA Cup final, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, Vukrata Masuaku as well, but they'll know they had a massive part to play in not only this title, but in titles before as well, and in trophies that have been won before in Leicester's history in the last 3 years. It's going to be Danny Drinkwater who raises the trophy this time. It was Nicholas Nkulu, I think, who raised the Champions League, and Kasper Schmeichel who raised the last BPL title in Season 2. But Danny Drinkwater, who's been around a while, his heart really bleeds blue these days, and it's just about right for him to be raising this BPL trophy here. In Season 3, Leicester are champions of the Barclays Premier League, and how they deserve it. After the collapse of Chelsea, they were there to capitalise, and they win the Barclays Premier League in this Season 3. It is 2 trophies, 2 titles on the bounce in English football. They've won the BPL for the 2nd time in a row. Danny Drinkwater soaking up the applause and soaking up the cheers from the crowd. The likes of Mahrez and Perez there in the background as well. Loris Karius, who came in for this season. Kasper Schmeichel hasn't played as much, but has still made some sort of impact for the squad. The likes of Daniel Amati, Luka Zahovic, Nampalys Mendy, even the likes of Tarajai, who didn't feature in this game. Younger players who had a massive part to play. And how can we forget Luis Suarez, who single-handedly almost changed Leicester's season, put them in the ascendancy, and since then they've gone on to be almost unbeatable. That, though, is the end of the season and the series overall. It's 2 BPL titles. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series and this episode overall. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.